Now, what is tax? As a tax may be defined as a pecuniary burden laid upon individual or property owners to support the government, like Black's Law Dictionary. It is a financial charge imposed by government on income, commodity, and activities. So, what is a tax? It is a financial charge which is levied on income, commodity, or activity. A tax is not a voluntary payment or donation, but an enforced contribution. However, it is non-penal. Means it is not a voluntary contribution or donation, but means you have to pay it compulsorily. However, it is not non-penal. Non-penal means it is not, if you are not liable to pay tax, and if you do not pay tax, and it is not penalized. Thus, it can be said that tax is compulsory extortion of money by the government. So it is compulsory. Government is taking money from you in the different form. Like it may be direct tax, it may be in the form of indirect tax, and everybody has to pay taxes on it. So this is all about taxes. Why taxes are levied? Why taxes are levied? Taxes constitute basic source of revenue for the government, which are utilized for meeting expenses government like defense, provision of educations, healthcare facility like roads, dams, etc. They are levied and collected to fulfill the socio-economic objectives of the people. So why taxes are levied? Very simple reasons, because government wants money to use the money for different purpose like defense, provision of education, healthcare facilities like roads, dams, etc. So that is why taxes are needed, and they are levied and collected to fulfill the socio-economic objectives of the government. Power to levy taxes, taxation system in India. In India, Constitution of India is the present law. All other law should be enacted without exceeding the framework of Constitution of India and subject to the norms, that is terms and condition laid down in it. That means what? If any law made without keeping in the mind of the provision of Constitution of India, it is considered as ultra vires, that is law beyond the Constitution, and it is not valid. So all other laws should be enacted without exceeding the framework of Constitution of India. That is very important law, because no law is beyond Constitution. Constitution is the highest law in the country. Now it consists of preamble, 25 parts containing 448 article and 12 schedules. So this can be asked as MCQ also. How many parts are there, and in how many parts, how many articles are there, and how many schedules are there? That can be asked in the form of MCQ. So this is very important for MCQ purpose, that you have to keep in mind. Now, what does Article 265 of the Constitution of India says that? So, Article 265 of the Constitution provides that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. So, this is a golden line that you have to remember. In which article it is said that no tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law. So your answer should be Article 265. What does it mean? It means that only Constitution of India, in Article 265, only Article 265 says that no tax. That means who can collect tax? Only authority of law, central government, state government, or whatever prescribed by the law. They can only make laws related to tax and collect tax from the normal people. So that is why nobody other can collect tax from the people. Like you and me can't collect taxes from the people, because it is not, Constitution has not provided power, empowerment to collect tax from the people to us. So that is why that you have to keep in mind. So Article 265 of the Constitution of India provides that no tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law. Now, Constitution of India gave powers to levy and collect taxes to the central government and state government. So now in this case, who Constitution of India gives power to two types of government. One is central government and another is state government to levy and collect taxes. So two body has given power. One is central and another is state government. Now parliament, that is union, and state legislature are empowered to make laws by virtue of article 246 of the Constitution of India. So this is also important for MCQ purpose. In which article central government and state government has empowered to make laws related to the taxes. So Article 246 of the Constitution. And to whom this power is given? So this power is given to two types of government. One is CG and another is SG. Now CG means central government, SG means state government. Now, seventh schedule to Article 246 contains three lists which are as follow. So now there are three lists: union list, state list, and concurrent list. Now, what is union list and who can make laws related to the subject covered in union list? Same way, what is state list and who can make laws related to the subject covered in state list, and what is concurrent list and who can make laws related to the subjects covered in concurrent list. So answer number 1, union list means what? There are certain subjects which are taken care by the union and which is taxes which are covered, the subjects which are covered in union list, the taxes on which or the provisions on which are made by union list. And this list is very wide, but today we will discuss only who can make laws related to it. So central government has exclusive powers to make laws on the matters containing in the union list. So that is number 1. Now what is state list? And state government has exclusive power to make laws on the matters contained in the state list. So in state list, who can make law? In state list, state government can make law. And in concurrent list, both central government and state government have power to make laws on the matters containing in this list. This is also called list 1. This is also called list 2, and this is also called list 3. So now who can this can be asked in MCQ, and which type of question can be asked? The matters related to the list 1. Who can make laws related to the matters covered in list 1? So your answer should be central government. Who can make laws or who can have exclusive power to make laws on the matters contained in the state list? To state government. And it is covered in which list? List 2. And what is concurrent list? In concurrent list, both central government and state government have powers to make laws on the matters contained in this list. So this is union list is equal to list 1, state list is equal to list 2, concurrent list means list 3. So this you have to keep in mind. Now entry number 82 of union list, that is list 1 of the 7th schedule of Constitution of India, gives power to the parliament to levy taxes on income other than agricultural income. Power to levy taxes on agricultural income with the state government. So this is important. Entry number 82 of union list of union list, that is list 1. I already told you list 1 is nothing but it is union list, list 2 is nothing but it is state list, and list 3 is nothing but it is concurrent list. So list 1 to the 7th schedule of Constitution of India gives power to parliament to levy taxes on income, all the incomes except one income. So this also can be asked, that union list give power to parliament to levy taxes on all incomes other than dash. So your answer should be agricultural income. So this is all about power to levy taxes, taxation system in India.
Difference between direct tax and indirect tax. Today we are going to discuss about difference between direct tax and indirect tax in this slide. First point of difference, if tax is levied directly on income or wealth of a person, it is a direct tax. And if tax is levied on price of the goods or services, it is an indirect tax. So this is the basic definition कि जो डायरेक्ट टैक्स है वो पर्सन की जो इनकम होती है या वेल्थ होता है उस पर लेवी किया जाता है, whereas जो इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स है वो गुड्स या सर्विसेज पे लेवी किया जाता है. So that is the basic difference of direct tax and indirect tax. Second point of difference is incidence and impact. A tax is said to be a direct when impact and incidence of a tax are on same person. यानी impact भी same person पे होता है, incidence भी same person पे होता है, तो उसको direct tax बोलते हैं. Impact means क्या? उसका effect. Incidence means क्या? Who will pay tax to the government. यानी incidence भी यहाँ पे जो earn करता है इनकम उसी bear करता है, वही खुद जाके गवर्नमेंट में डिपॉजिट करता है, और इम्पैक्ट भी उसी पे होता है, वो उसकी ही पॉकेट में से उसको पे करना पड़ता है. And whereas in indirect tax, a tax is said to be indirect when impact and incidence of a tax are of on different person. That means impact कंज्यूमर पे होता है, बट इंसिडेंस कौन बेयर करता है? जो सप्लायर होता है वो बेयर करता है. तो इसलिए हम यहाँ पे बोल सकते हैं कि इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स में जो इफेक्ट पड़ता है वो कंज्यूमर पे पड़ता है, बट जो टैक्स पे करने का या डिपॉजिट करने का जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है वो सप्लायर पे आता है. सो दैट इज वाई इन इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स impact and incidence of a tax are on different person. Third point of difference, levied on income and wealth of the person, whereas indirect tax will be levied on price of the goods or services. So when it is asked when what on which direct tax is levied, so answer should be income and wealth of the person, and indirect tax will be levied on dash, so answer should be price of goods or services. तो ये थर्ड पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंस है विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जो भी डायरेक्ट टैक्स होता है वो जो पर्सन इनकम अर्न करता है या वेल्थ परचेस करता है उस पे लगता है, और जो गुड्स और सर्विसेज अवेल करता है उस पे इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स लगता है. फोर्थ पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंस, टाइम ऑफ कलेक्शन. Direct tax will be collected on yearly basis, whereas indirect tax will be collected at the time of sale or purchase of the goods or rendering services. यानी नॉर्मली जो डायरेक्ट टैक्स होता है वो ईयरली बेसिस पे कलेक्ट किया जाता है, और जब भी और जो इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स होता है वो कौन से बेसिस पे कलेक्ट किया जाता है? वो जब भी गुड्स सेल करते हो या परचेस करते हो या सर्विस को रेंडर किया जाता है उस टाइम पे उसको कलेक्ट किया जाता है. यानी दोनों का कलेक्शन का जो पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम है वो डिफरेंस है यहाँ पे. तो हम यहाँ पे ये बोल सकते हैं कि नॉर्मली इन नॉर्मल सिचुएशन डायरेक्ट टैक्स विल बी कलेक्टेड इन ए ईयरली बेसिस ऑन ए ईयरली बेसिस, वेयरएज जब भी आप सेल करोगे गुड्स का या सर्विसेज का या परचेस करोगे या तो सर्विसेज को रेंडर करोगे उस टाइम पे आपको इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स कलेक्ट किया जाएगा. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंस इज इन डायरेक्ट टैक्स देयर इज नो शिफ्टिंग ऑफ बर्डन, डायरेक्टली बॉर्न बाय टैक्स पेयर. जो टैक्स पेयर है वही बॉर्न करता है इंसिडेंस ऑफ टैक्स, उसी को गवर्नमेंट में डिपॉजिट करना पड़ता है, तो इसलिए यहाँ पे कोई शिफ्टिंग नहीं हो रहा है. whereas in indirect tax burden is shifted to subsequent buyer, burden falls on final consumer. यानी जो फाइनल कंज्यूमर होता है उस पर बर्डन फॉल होता है. यानी जैसे आप एक चेन समझ लो कि मैन्युफैक्चरर अपना गुड्स होलसेलर को सेल करता है, होलसेलर अपना गुड्स रिटेलर को सेल करता है और रिटेलर कंज्यूमर को सेल करता है. तो ये चेन में बर्डन शिफ्ट होता है, यानी अपना जो बर्डन जो होता है वो दूसरे पे शिफ्ट करता है. मैन्युफैक्चरर अपना बर्डन होलसेलर पे, होलसेलर रिटेलर पे और रिटेलर कंज्यूमर पे फॉल करता है. फाइनली जिसके किसके पॉकेट में से टैक्स जाता है तो कंज्यूमर का. बट जैसे होलसेलर ने कोई अमाउंट ऑफ टैक्स पे किया हो तो उसका वो कलेक्ट किसके पास कर लेगा? होलसेलर के पास से, और होलसेलर अपना टैक्स रिटेलर के पास और रिटेलर अपना टैक्स कंज्यूमर के पास. तो यहाँ पे बर्डन शिफ्ट हो रहा है. तो इसलिए हम यहाँ पे बोल सकते हैं कि इन इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स देयर इज अ शिफ्टिंग ऑफ बर्डन, और फाइनल बर्डन फॉल्स ऑन दी कंज्यूमर, क्योंकि सबसे पैसा कौन किसकी जेब में से जाएगा, कंज्यूमर की जेब में से ही जाएगा। इसलिए हम यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं डायरेक्ट टैक्स में देर इज नो शिफ्टिंग ऑफ बर्डन, वेर एज इन इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स बर्डन इज शिफ्टेड टू सब्सिक्वेंट बायर। Next point of difference is example. Example of direct tax is income tax, tax on undisclosed foreign income or asset, and wealth tax. So these are the different example of direct taxes, and GST, custom duty are the example of indirect tax. Custom duty क्या होता है? When गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स क्या होता है? तो जी गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स मींस गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स which is levied at the time of sale or purchase of goods or services, and custom duty when something is imported to India from a place outside India, then import duty will be levied. If something is exported outside India from a place in India, then it is export duty is levied. So in this case custom duty comes into the picture.
Now, Income Tax Act 1961, it came into force on 1st April 1961. The act contains 298 sections and 14th schedules. So this is also important for MCQ purpose. How many, when income tax came into force, how many sections are there, how many schedules are there in Income Tax Act 1961. The act, since it is a revenue based act, undergo changes every year with addition and deletions brought by the Annual Finance Act by the Parliament. So every year this act, in this act there are certain additions and there are certain deletions brought by the Annual Finance Act. So any changes in the act will be brought by Annual Finance Act, and which is passed in the Parliament. Now, Annual Finance Act means what? If Annual Finance Act means every year finance minister introduce financial bill in the Parliament budget session. Now, part A of budget speech contains the proposed policy of government in fiscal area, and part B of the budget speech contains detailed tax proposal. So it is proposed and it is detailed plan proposal, part A and part B. When the financial bill is passed by both the houses of the house, like upper house and lower house, and gets assent of the president, that means approval of the president, it becomes the finance act. So when, if it is asked when any bill becomes act, so it must be passed through, go through both the houses of the country, like upper house and lower house, and then it should be sent to the approval of the president. And if it is assent is given by the president, then that particular bill will be passed by, will is considered passed, and it is known as a act, which is incorporated in Income Tax Act. Amendments are made every year to the act and other taxes laws by the Finance Act. So every year there are certain changes, and some finance act is made. So first we had discussed about Income Tax Act, which comes into 90 act is 1961 but comes into force on 1st April 1962. And what is Annual Finance Act? So every year it was declared, and there are two part A and part B. In part A, government propose some fiscal policies related to some fiscal area, and part B contains detailed tax proposal. Now this bill gets act, when it gets act or when it becomes act, that I already told you. Now there are certain amendments which every year some amendments comes in this Finance Act. Now what is Income Tax Rules 1961? So now Income Tax Rule 1961, administration of direct tax is looked after by the central government, CBDT. So who takes care about direct tax? CBDT. This is also important for MCQ. This is also important for MCQ. Administrations of the direct taxes is looked by after by the central of direct taxes, that is CBDT. CBDT empowered to make rules of for proper administration of the act. For example, section 32 state that depreciation will be allowed as a deduction, but rate of depreciations are given by rule 5, because whatever depreciation charged by the entity, business entity, may or may not be allowed in the income tax. So that is why whatever tax depreciation rate specified by the Income Tax Act only. That rate is only applicable. Like if you are charging 10% depreciation on furniture, but income tax said that only 5% is allowed. That means now you can take depreciation, claim depreciation, or you can write down depreciation on the debit side of the profit and loss account 5%. You can't write down 10%. You can't claim 10% depreciation. So this is all about rules, powers of administration, and that is covered in Income Tax Rules 1961. In addition to the above component, the notification and circulars issued by CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, Income Tax Department, time to time are also treated as component of income tax. So what is notifications? So what is circular? Because it gives, if some certain change comes in between the year, how it is to be notified to the normal people. It is notified to the normal people by issuing the some notifications and circulars from time to time. So this is all about notification, circular, income tax rules, annual finance act, income tax act 1961, and all those things. Now next topics we are going to discuss in the next lecture. Thank you very much.